17 US states are implementing or have implemented apps designed by Apple and Google meant to notify the public of potential COVID-19 exposures. When the collaboration between these companies was first announced in April, it was met with skepticism. Now, some still question how this might affect personal privacy down the line.
I am concerned about surveillance in general with technology. It's become face recognition cameras all over the place, IP tracing.
This is Jan Holmovic, an associate professor at Clemson University in South Carolina. To his discomfort, Clemson has been working on their own app using Apple and Google's exposure notification technology. But Clemson CTO Jim Pepin, the man overseeing the app's development at the university, says this fear is due to a misunderstanding.
We're now in the middle of a political hoo-hoo to make that so we can use it, but it's been almost a 4-month hoo-hoo. They didn't understand the anonymization or that it was a notification system, not a contact tracing system.
Initially, Apple and Google marketed their tech as digital contact tracing, which is simply the tech-assisted method of tracking viruses like Ebola or COVID-19. Here's how it usually works without technology. Infected carriers are questioned as to where they've been and who they've interacted with. Then, those risk contacts are informed, followed up with, and encouraged to self-quarantine. You rinse and repeat the process if those contacts become infected. Dr. Leslie Leonard, the Director of Biomedical Informatics for the Medical University of South Carolina, has been working closely with Clemson, Apple, and Google on this project. He points out that this technology drew clear inspiration from other countries responding to COVID-19.
The first implementations for COVID-19 did use GPS tracking, and that occurred in societies where people had less perceptions of privacy.
In Singapore, age, gender, occupation, and recent retraced locations of coronavirus carriers were gathered and published through a government-run website. Eventually, the government launched a notification app called Trace Together, which functions similarly to Apple and Google's tech. Unlike Trace Together, Apple and Google don't market their apps as contact tracing. But to Holmovic, they're all the same.
There are countries in the world today that uses face recognition technology and other sort of personal tracing technologies to monitor their citizens and what they say. And now we're moving into very dangerous territory.
This is how Apple and Google's exposure notification tech works. The foundation of the app is Bluetooth, that chip that wirelessly connects your phone to your AirPods. Except in this case, phones are connecting to other phones. They detect and log other devices that come within a certain proximity. If someone reports a positive COVID-19 test to the app, then other phones that previously came within the proximity of that COVID carrier's phone are notified. And names and locations are not shared or saved.
The whole point of this type of technology is to create a system where there is no central database. Each phone keeps track of all the other phones it sees.
You don't know where the people are, you don't know who they are.
Although those promoting the tech guarantee privacy, previous mistakes in the past make this hard to believe. One might recall when Facebook removed political data firm Cambridge Analytica from their site after the firm collected and distributed 50 million Facebook users' data. And last July, a 17-year-old hacked Twitter, gaining access to accounts belonging to former President Barack Obama, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Even Dr. Leonard, who is actively working to implement exposure notification into South Carolina, points out how dangerous this technology could be.
It is not so much government privacy invasion. This kind of a technology has the power to put all the advertising tools that do precision advertising out of business.
Moving on from the dangers, something to point out is that exposure notification apps are entirely voluntary. That said, one key question must be addressed. Will this tech actually solve anything?
When I asked some of our own students, like I had a small group of 3, all 3 said, they don't feel comfortable with that. They are not ready for that.
Dr. Tanju Karanfil, a Clemson researcher supporting the exposure notification app, says the numbers must double to be effective.
We are hearing that some average numbers, like about 30-40% at best. If this is not adapted by 60-70% of the people, really you can do only so much with it because, again, this requires data.
When it comes to privacy, Apple and Google have successfully cemented themselves as integral parts of our everyday lives. From social media to banking, some might say that our phones already know pretty much everything about us. For Annenberg Media, I'm Colin Taylor.